Happy summer.
Was it summer already?
It is summer.
Wow. Okay.
I think, is today the longest day? Or
No,
was it last night?
I think that's wait a minute, you might be right.
Yeah,
It's
the
today
summer solstice.
Wow, summer solstice
The
already.
equinox is when the day is exactly 12 hours light, 12 hours dark.
And it was cold this morning here.
Yeah, and it's raining. I'm here in beautiful downtown Tacoma.
Oh, very nice.
Got a view of the dome and the auto museum. I should have gone to the auto museum and sat in the parking lot and done the show from there.
Oh, that would have been good. Yeah.
I don't know if they're open yet. But welcome to CarYada with Raffi and Dan. That's Raffi. I'm Dan. And
Last week,
yeah, just to make sure their names are on there. Yeah. We're here every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We talk about buying and selling and trading and repairing and collecting and auctioning and classic cars and not so classic cars.
Yada, yada, yada.
Yada. That's why it's CarYada. Exactly. There was actually, when I was in New Orleans and we did Fast Band Global Cast, which was the live online radio station, there was a company called CarYada that was doing talk radio online.
Oh.
This is pre-podcast. I mean, the iPod wasn't even invented yet, but it was called CarYada. So when CarYada.com was available, I'm like, well, that seems like a great name.
Why not?
That's why I changed our name from Clutch to CarYada.
And with the new intro, it's important to point out that Dan prognosticated the future.
Eric did.
Oh, Eric, I thought you picked that car.
No, Eric made this. We'll go back to a real.
That's your car.
That's the car I ended up getting.
I think that's hilarious.
Note to Eric, when you do the next intro, can you do like $1 million car?
or show a picture of animated Dan in a mansion.
Yes. A Danshin.
There you go.
Adam wants to know, is the Tacoma aroma in the air over here? No, actually it's raining, so it's kind of nice. The smell of Fife is not blowing over this way.
Tacoma aroma is left over from when they had all the paper mills there. And it still smells like that in many parts of Tacoma, especially when it's a warm day.
Yeah, well, it hasn't been yet. It's been chilly. My little comedy tour down here with the Tacoma Comedy Club. Two more shows tonight. And then, I'll be in LA on Tuesday for the screening of It's a Lot at the Marina Del Rey Film Festival in Culver City.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Culver City.
Well, it's close to Marina Del Rey.
Well, while you're in LA, you will notice what I notice whenever I'm down in LA is that the car scene is just amazing.
Yes.
There are cars just driven on the roads on a regular basis. You just can't believe it. And not just fancy exotic cars, cars from the 40s and 50s and 60s, just driving around like regular driving cars.
Yeah, there's daily drivers that are classics with no rust.
Yeah.
Just gorgeous cars.
Yeah.
And that's, one of the things I wanted to talk about today. I know we talk about Tesla way too often. And last night I did the joke about, if the Cybertruck looks like if a 10-year-old saw the movie Back to the Future and tried to draw a DeLorean, that's the Cybertruck.
There you go.
It's all out of proportion and it's stainless steel. But they stopped production in their Austin plant of the Cybertruck and the Model Y. Like, they're currently not producing because they don't have the volume. They're tired of filling up parking lots.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. I did not hear that about the Model Y, but I assumed that about the Cybertruck because, most dealers won't even take the Cybertruck in on trade, and because they can't do anything with it, and the values on resale have been plummeting.
Yeah, I mean, look at this picture.
That's a lot of vehicles.
Those are just Cybertrucks, but they also cut back the Model Y as well.
Yeah, that surprises me because I would have thought that that would have sold well, except it's a new car and many people just don't want to support Musk anymore.
Look, they're parking at a mall that has an old out of business Bed Bath and Beyond. I
Oh
mean,
my,
it's really amazing.
yeah.
Uh, Ford sold 39,000 pickups of the
Wow.
E of their electric.
That's a lot.
7,100 Cybertrucks were registered during the first quarter of 25.
Wow.
And
39,000.
7,913 Ford F-150 Lightnings were registered in the first quarter. And the thing with the Cybertruck is, they're not going to be able to when they say the numbers are down, like they can say they're up this quarter based on the first quarter of last year because they came out the first quarter last year. They hardly were any. I mean, Cybertruck's only a year old. That's what's crazy.
Yeah.
Dan's headline that he saw said Cybertruck production halted to focus on the self-driving taxi. Yeah, that's called spin.
I don't think there's going to be any market for a self-driving taxi.
Well, the
No.
Waymo exists, but the Waymo has way more equipment on it.
It has Waymo equipment.
Waymo equipment. I mean, it's got LiDAR and a big spinny thing. I mean, it's got stuff on. I mean, it's all over the place.
Yeah.
And of course, the rioters in LA were going on the Waymo app requesting a ride, and the Waymos are driving right into the protests, and then they were attacking the cars, which I don't understand. It makes zero sense to me.
I don't understand why you want to attack those cars anyway.
Yeah. Other than it's a Jaguar that's probably going to break down anyway.
Well, but why make a point of attacking them? I mean, it's one thing to have them all come to the one location and just have them sit there parked, but why would you attack them? I don't understand that mentality, the property destruction mentality, but
well, what happens after a team wins a sporting event too? Like, why? It's like, let's ruin a car. Yay. Yeah. The Lakers win. Let's ruin a car. Oklahoma City or Indiana, we'll see who does. And then when you lose, you do the same thing.
Well, it's, automobiles are tremendously expensive. They're hard to make, and they take a significant amount of intellectual agreement, if nothing else, to go through and build something without significant compromise. And something like the Ford F-150, which is, I think, still the top-selling vehicle in the world. That's an amazing truck, and it's got decades of built-in history designed into making it the best possible truck you can get. And it really is. If I was to buy a pickup truck today, that's the truck I would buy. I'd buy the Ford F-150 or an F-250 if I needed the, it's just a fantastic vehicle and it's the best truck you can get because I think it's the most durable overall package out there. Now, I should state that for clarity, I am from a Ford family. So
I'm a GM family. I go Silverado.
Yeah. See, I grew up, my dad and his dad preferred Fords, and second to that were Chryslers. So I've had more Fords and Chryslers than I have Chevys. I've only had one Chevrolet product in the time I've owned cars, and that was a 1977 Chevy Caprice station wagon. And it was actually a pretty rare car. It was copper colored, which was helpful because we got it out of the Midwest, so you couldn't tell the difference between the paint and the rust. But the entire bottom of the car was very heavily rusted out. But it was a rescue vehicle, which my dad bought when he was trying to drive a 1949 Willys Jeep from Boston to California, and it broke down in Ohio, and he pulled off the highway and slapping a piston, and pulled into this gas station to see if they could fix it, and he saw the station wagon for sale there, and he went to the U-Haul place and rented one of those back hitches, bought the wagon for $900, put the back hitch on it, put the Willis on the back of it, and then finished the trip.
I'm glad I was able to correct you.
Yes.
It's Willis instead of Willie's.
Well, I've always heard Willie's.
I know everybody has. I
Yeah.
mean, when I was talking to our friend Ron, who has one,
Yeah.
an old Jeep, and I said it's Willis, and he goes, "What you talking about, Willis?" I said, "No, seriously, it actually is." Okay, so I just pulled some stats. Worldwide, believe it or not, the Model Y was the #1 seller last year.
Model Y,
In the world.
the new one.
No, just the model that didn't come out last year. This is for 2024 and 2023. The Model Y was because they sell so many in China and other countries.
Yeah.
It was the #1 selling car. In the United States, the Ford F-150 for decades has been the #1 selling vehicle.
Yeah.
And it still is. And the Silverado is usually #2 because trucks, there's so much fleet service and farm service for trucks.
Yeah.
But the Model Y was the #1 seller of a car.
Wow.
And even with the dip that it's had, it's still a great car.
I mean, if you're looking for an electric vehicle and you want something that is well built and not super expensive, a 1 or 2 year old Model Y is not a bad purchase.
Yeah.
You can get them for 30 grand. And there's nothing on them that's going to wear out. Brakes, tires, and you don't have to worry about oil changes or engine wear. The motor, which is essentially the same motor in your dryer, is going to go forever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's the if that company were to be sold, or if Musk were no longer to be associated with it, I think their future would change dramatically.
Yeah. I do have something I want to play real quick. Very important.
All right.
Very important. Hold on.
All right.
Here we go. We have breaking news from Ray Pepper.
Oh, here we go.
A car sold for less than the Saab at Stokes.
Oh, highest offer was 0.
Highest offer was 0, which means it didn't sell. So I take umbrage in that. It didn't actually sell. Therefore,
wait a minute. Well, I want to know what the car was. Nobody bid on it at all. Why not even $1 bid?
Here, I will pull up. Hold on. I've got the text that Ray sent me.
Look at 0. Like, did nobody show up for $1? I guess because Ray was talking about last week, I think it was that the auction fees are so high that somebody would have ended up paying probably $300-400 for it.
All right, here it is. You ready? What do you think? What do you think could possibly have gotten no bids?
Maybe a boat.
Close. Are you anyone in the comments? If you want to put in Ray, you're not eligible. I'll pull it up in a second. But if you're watching, this is an item at the Stokes auction this past week, which is a big monthly auction in Port Orchard, Washington. It's been going on for decades. Everything sells as long as it hits its minimum bid, which is $250 is the minimum. So it has to get a bid. No one bid on this. You would think you could bid $1 if it gets to the end.
You'd think.
Take something. All right, here it is. Nobody guessed.
Oh, wow.
A 1972 Superior Coach motorhome, Chrysler brand.
Wow.
It's out of an estate. It's vintage, it says.
It sure is.
Let's look at these pictures.
Oh, my gracious.
It
Yeah.
has handicap plates on it.
That's why no one bought it. Oh, my goodness.
You
Wow.
would think for $250. Oh, look at the plaid.
Oh, that's vintage.
That could be fun.
It could be fun, but you there's a lot of work that needs to be
Clean up the blanket and the sheets
I
a
know.
little bit. I can smell this through the video.
That's the thing. It probably does smell mildewy and
Gas range.
wow.
There's the fridge. Look at that steering wheel.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I can see why no one bid on it.
There's a radio, it looks like.
Well, no effort made to clean that up at all.
I know.
Oh goodness.
There better not be shit in the toilet, but there is a toilet.
Wow. Yeah, I can see why no one bid on this.
Look at the horns.
It's nothing but work. That's all it is. Yeah, they'd almost have to pay you to take
American Bosch windshield washer.
Wow.
It's got 76,000 miles on a 5-digit odometer.
Which
No
is
history, no information. Title purposes only.
Think about that. Someone drove that vehicle 76,000 miles. That's almost 3 times around the world. That's pretty incredible.
Well, here, these motorhomes were produced by an Ohio-based manufacturer in the 60s and 70s. They were considered the Range Rover of luxury travel. That's bad. That means it breaks down all the time.
I was going to say that's not necessarily a good thing.
See, here's the TV show.
Oh.
Everything to me is, how do we do a TV show? So you and I go, we buy this thing for $250. We get it running and we take it on tour. You play music, I do comedy. We go around the country in this thing.
Oh my gracious! And we send our wives to Europe because there's no way
they're not going with us.
They're not coming with us.
Isabel says, "Good morning, gentlemen." I don't know which gentleman she's talking about. Oh, my hat is
Good morning, Isabel.
Good morning.
Wow, how about that? Motorhomes are actually a lot of fun. And they're more and more popular today, especially the Sprinter van conversion type ones. With the popularity in micro homes these days, a lot of people are moving into motorhomes and having a little bit of adventure on the road. But vintage motorhomes are experiencing quite a bit of popularity, as are vintage trailers, travel trailers.
Teardrops.
Yeah. If you look at certainly Airstreams are still popular. There are people who buy Airstreams and then just land them on their property and they Airbnb them. And those can work out really well for people that just need an overnight or a small, maybe a couple traveling, that sort of thing. But the one that I really like and that my brother and I always wanted to have when we were kids growing up was the GMC motorhome from 70, I think it was 73 to 79.
I believe John DeLorean was involved with that.
Was he?
There's some tie into DeLorean in the GMC motorhome, in the DeLorean community.
So futuristic.
I'll pull that up in a second, but look at this.
What do we got here?
This is, okay, whatever. A 2026 Ford Freedom Elite built on a Ram. This is a Camping World over in Silverdale. My friend works at Camping World in Boise.
Okay.
And he was telling me about how all this stuff works.
You
got a bed, a table. It's got everything you need.
Yeah. And that's that. This is even smaller than what they call an A-class motorhome, I think.
Yeah, this one you can use with a regular driver's license. You don't need to get anything special.
Yeah. And you can take this to any of the national parks because national parks have limitations on the size of rig that you can drive in.
But what's nice with this one, look at it, $736 a month.
Wow.
I mean, if you're buying, and this is where they make their money, by the way, in these Camping World, like all the money's made in finance. If you go in to pay cash, like right now, built in America price, $97,999. So that's $28,000 below MSRP. I guarantee if you walked in right now and said, I'll write a check for $98,000, they would say, I'm sorry, I can't sell that to you.
Oh, really?
That's not the cash price. The cash price is $28,964 more.
Oh,
because they make all their money on the finance. Because think about this finance is probably, 240-month finance. That's a 20-year, that's a mortgage.
No, it's 10-year. 240 is 10-year.
No, 120 is 10-year. 12 months in a year.
That is a 20-year. You're right.
Yeah, 8.74%, 15% down. So you're putting down $15,000, 8.74% for for 240 months, 20 years.
Oh my gosh, that is a mortgage.
Yeah. And so if they make 2 points, they're allowed to 2%. So they're paying 6.74. So over a 20-year period, they're making thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, but they get it all up front as long as you make your first 7 months.
Wow.
The dealership gets paid. And what they tell people, what's funny is they'll say, just make sure you make your first 7 payments. If you're going to write a check, like, oh, we have special financing. Just do the first 7 payments and then you're all good. It'll help your credit. You don't want it to be on for less than 7. It has nothing to do with your credit. They get charged back all the interest.
Oh.
And there's nothing you can do about it. Like if you walked in, finance it, and then immediately when you get your first payment, pay it off, you just saved all that money and you screwed them over.
Wow.
We have an actual car question.
Okay.
From Isabel. Her passenger front door doesn't unlock, window doesn't go down, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
To me, that's probably a fuse or an electrical line within the door.
So that I assume both window and door locks are power locks. That's the first question.
It's a GMC Terrain, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. If my memory serves me, they are on a separate fuse. I don't think they're on the same fuse. But the first thing I would do is check fuses. Whenever there's any electrical issue with your car, the fuse box is actually fairly easy to get to, and it's easy to check them, especially if they're the bar type fuses that you can pluck and look at. But fuse would be the first thing. The second thing, as Dan said, it's probably some sort of a connection, because the door is moving, hinging all the time, and the wires go through a cable container that goes into the main part of the car through the door jamb and up into the wiring harness. That constant opening and closing will create some friction and will start to wear the contacts or the wiring. It's also possible that underneath your car, you may have had a visit from a rodent that will chew on your wiring, and they'll just chew the insulation and they'll stop when they get to the metal, and then the copper wiring will arc against something else and short out the circuit to the lock and window.
Dan says could be driver control switches. Now, on the driver's side, can you do it? I guess maybe that's what he's asking, or maybe that's what he's saying. From the driver's side, if you hit the button, does the window go down? Or is it only the switch on the passenger front door?
Well, I assume the passenger window goes down.
Well, it says passenger front door doesn't unlock, window doesn't go down, et cetera, et cetera. So is it the switch from the driver's side, or is it the switch on the passenger side, or both? Because sometimes it's the switch itself. Water got into it. Maybe your window was down. Somebody spilled something and it went into that switch and shorted something out. There could be a wiring harness issue, as Raffi was saying about the wiring. Or if a fuse is blown, chances are none of them would work, I would think. But sometimes fuses can be really tricky. You just change it, even though it looks fine, and suddenly it starts working. I've had that happen, which makes no sense.
Yeah, so that's a good question. If it's a cluster switch on the driver's side that doesn't do the uppy-downy, or if it's just
uppy-downy.
Yeah, that's a technical
That's a technical term, the uppy-downy.
Yes. Or if it's just the passenger door. Whenever anything doesn't work that has multiple functions on the car, you always test the other ones just to make sure. When a window doesn't go up and down on one, you go and check if the others function as well.
Yeah, Dan says kind of what typically fuses don't separate for each door.
Yeah.
Although GM Acadias have weird issues sometimes. The Terrain, the Acadia, there's just weird stuff that can happen. I would think it's a wiring issue in that door itself, that something's not connecting.
Yeah. The other thing that's weird is depending on the vehicle, and I've seen this happen. I've heard mechanics talk about that.
Neither switch works. Okay, good to
Okay.
know.
Is if you have a partner that rides in your vehicle a lot and gets out of the passenger side door and slams the door, and for some reason, a lot of passengers like to slam their door. Drivers don't slam their doors because drivers own the car, but passengers often do that. And it's hard to explain to someone who is in your car with you all the time, please don't slam my door, because the first thing they'll say is, I didn't slam the door. And then you get into an argument over slamming.
Like, fine, they get out of your car and they slam the door.
But I see it all the time. Passenger side windows, the insulated ribbing or the tracking, and and then the window rattles, and then you slam the door, and then the electronics in the door gets compromised, and so that's a possibility. And that it's just
here's another thing that's possible. There's the security button you push down so that other people can't open and close windows.
Yes.
The lockout switch.
Prevention.
I've seen that get stuck.
Hmm.
And it makes it like right in the middle. It'll get stuck. And so you can't put the windows down as the driver. And obviously they can't. Do the back windows all work? There's a question. Check your back windows as well. Dan is offering to let you message her. Not this Dan Lindquist. If you message him, sorry. If she, Isabel, messaged him, Dan, he can help diagnose a little bit further than we can, because he probably knows more than we do.
Yeah, well, Dan was a professional mechanic for many years and continues to do shade tree mechanic work. But he's a sharp guy. He's good at asking all the right questions to get you the right answers.
Now, one thing my dad always taught me is give it a good hit. Sometimes that works. The Fonzarelli. If it's a little thing where there's just a wire that's just slightly off, you bump it a little bit, it suddenly works. My dad always called it a sooner. Sooner or later, it's going to work. And I think I've told the story. We had a 73 Chevy Impala station wagon with the electric back window. It had a little switch on the dashboard to put the window up and down. And sometimes it would go, the car would make this weird noise. Oh, and we'd immediately hit the switch and the window would work. And I think it always worked to go back up, but to get it down, we had to wait to hear that noise. And that's, I think, the first time, and my mom could probably clarify, but that's the first time I heard my dad call something a sooner.
A sooner.
She did check, and she said everything else works fine. The back works fine. Just the driver's side door or the passenger side door, and it's the lock and the window. So the fact that it's both makes me think there's something in the wiring harness. That would be my guess.
Yeah.
Which is, if you open the door, there's like a black rubbery thing in between the door and the body. There's probably some wiring in there that might have somewhere got stuck,
affecting the uppy downy.
Yes. His dad did that for old TVs, then thought the same for computers. Yeah. You don't do that with computers.
My dad used to do that with the TV too. When you get the snow or a little with the image, and you wrap the side of it and it fixes.
She's going to message Dan.
Great.
Yeah, we had to pass on the information. Sorry. Now we do have a car of the week from Ray. We'll get to in a little bit.
All right.
Or we could do that right now, real quick.
Let's see what he's got.
All right, here we go. Here's our car of the week from Ray Pepper. By the way, I did a joke when I was in Gig Harbor about sometimes you have friends that you just say their whole name. And Ray Pepper is one of those people.
There you go.
You say Ray, it's always Ray Pepper.
I think that he should become a Middle Eastern leader, so people can call him Salt and Pepper. Crickets. You got to have a cricket button.
I used to. Where did it go? That's gone. All right, so I'll share a picture.
All right.
Look at that beauty.
Oh, there you go.
Got a RAV4 with a cracked bumper.
Yeah. What's going on? Is that a bug guard on the hood or reflection?
Looks like a bug guard.
Okay.
It's a V6.
Is that a bug guard on your hood, or you're just happy to see me? That's a popular color.
Yeah, and then we've got this picture we can show also. Here's the butt. 4-wheel drive V6 RAV4.
What year?
Let's see. That is a.
Is it 17?
Oh wait, maybe put it. I know I saw it somewhere. 2008.
8. Wow.
It's a 2008 RAV4. It's plush.
Oh,
as only Ray can say. Because right now the prices are very high at the auction. Fees are even higher. He did buy this 2008 RAV4. It's got 250,000 miles on it.
holy cow.
Runs like new.
Yeah. Wow.
It's a Toyota. It's Ray's bargain basement. Take it home for only $3,900, and he'll split the fees with you.
Wow.
It does have new struts. And if you come to affordable and he's there, you get free Dutch Brothers coffee. Restrictions apply.
You know, to get a car for under $4,000 these days, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah. Oh, here's another thing I wanted to talk about today. I posted the pickup truck.
That's go ahead. Oh, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I posted the pickup truck.
Yeah.
1988, 102,000 miles, stick shift, manual windows, little rust on the roof, on the hood, Camaro Z28 wheels.
New tires.
I'm out of town. So I put it for $7,500 because I'm out of town. I knew it wouldn't sell for $7,500.
Yeah.
Why do people waste my time and their time to comment?
Uh-oh.
One guy's like, what is it, at $5,500 of cash in the glove box? Another guy goes, that's $100 truck. That's a piece of shit. Why? And I wrote back, I go, find me another one. Find me another 88 stick shift short bed.
Yeah.
That runs and drives. That's a stick. I mean, find me another one. You search the whole country. There are none.
Right.
And the ones that have 150,000, 200,000 or $5,000.
Yeah.
7,500 is not crazy for that car. It's not a POS.
I agree.
I mean, I would take, 5,500, but I figure I'm out of town. I throw it up. I marked it sold. I don't want to deal with those people. I'll just park it down at Green Light Garage and sell it like I've sold most of the other cars.
Yeah. I think
it's a nice little truck.
Yeah.
I think it would get 45 to 5 on Bring a Trailer.
I think you could do that. Yeah.
But it needs to have the carpet installed. See, the thing is, I painted the bumpers.
Mm-hmm.
There, I'll pull up a picture. Why not? I made it look pretty. Let's see, where did it go? Present, share screen, window.
Have you had it on the lift? Does it have any rust?
No. This is probably the first car I've ever taken to Greenlight Garage where they were like, this is the best car you've ever bought at auction. It needed almost nothing. The brakes fell off and the master cylinder was leaking a little bit. So we replaced the master cylinder. We gave it an oil change. And the speedometer was making a really loud grinding noise.
Yeah.
So they went in and they were able to figure out what the noise was. And when they took the dash off, because it's old plastic, the heater bent. What was that noise?
I don't know. Not here.
Did you hear it?
I did. Through you.
There's nothing here. Anyway. So we had that last time happen around the same time. That's weird. The little heater selector thing cracked. Yeah. So I went on eBay. I found one for like $150, original from an 88. I mean, it matched identically. They installed that. I had a radio put in because it had no radio.
Mm-hmm.
They put in a really nice. It's a Kenwood Bluetooth. It's got a microphone. Everything's wonderful. I painted the bumpers front and back. The back I used bed liner spray. Then I gave a little spritz in the bed liner of what I had left of the bed liner spray. So it cleaned up very nicely. The window does have a little thing where it comes off track. If you have to kind of hold it in place. Heat works beautifully. Runs like as Ray would say, runs like a cream puff donut from Krispy Kreme.
Does it have air conditioning?
No, it's a base.
Roll down windows.
Roll down windows.
5-speed manual.
5-speed manual. It's the 4-cylinder fuel injected, 2.8 or 2.5. I forget what it is. 2.5 liter. Runs beautifully.
So this is the truck that somebody who wants a short bed sport truck would buy, yank the engine and transmission, put in a 327 or a 350 and lower it and clean the bumpers off and maybe put some other and have a fantastic truck. I think you could easily get $5,000 to $5,500 for this easily, but the interior without the carpet in it, it is a little suspect. But if you got the carpet, I wonder how much Cam would charge to put it in.
I think you and I should do it as an episode.
It's not hard to do. The hardest part is removing the seat.
Yeah, we take the seat out.
There's no power in that seat, right?
No. So
it's easy. It's probably 4 to 6 bolts. You're under the truck. Probably 9/16 ratchet, and off it comes. And then you slide the it's a bench seat, right?
Yeah, just a nice bench seat.
So you slide that out. While the seat is out, is it cloth and vinyl?
It is all vinyl.
All vinyl. Then we give it a really good cleaning while it's out. Scrub it down and do the back, and then get underneath it. There should be a build sheet under there. And if there is, we can pull that out. We'll collect about $3 and change under the seat, and then vacuum all that out, clean it up, get underneath everything. And then we'll have to take the door sill thresholds out because I think the carpet comes up and tucks under that.
Right.
And then the other thing I would probably do is sprinkle a little baking soda on it, on the floor. And then maybe let it sit for the day and then vacuum up the baking soda the next day, just to get any smells or.
It really surprisingly has no smell.
That's
I think
great.
there's no carpet in it.
That's true. Yeah.
Once we put the new carpet in, it's probably going to be nice. Here's another picture. The bench has a little bit of cracking in it.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
But I mean, it's a clean interior. One other picture. These are what I love about it. These are my favorite part of the entire vehicle. Look at these.
There you go.
Camaro Z28 wheels.
Those are fun.
And the tires are from the rotary auction.
Which is
really good Firestones with tons of tread. I bought them the same time I bought the wavy guy.
Yeah.
So it's got great tires on it. Great radio system.
Yeah.
Dan says remove the kick panels and door sills.
Yep, he's right.
Yeah, those are on because it had carpet originally. Somebody took it out. Same with the headliner. But
no headliner?
It's just bare metal.
Oh.
This truck is a perfect donor truck for like what you said. You do an LS swap and make it a little powerful.
Yeah.
You lift it a little bit.
Yeah.
Dan has an 83 S10 Blazer 4x4 with a beefed up 2.8 liter. Love that. I love the old Blazers. Mine was an 85, I think, red and white striped one.
Yeah.
And to put it in 4-wheel drive, I had to open the hood and take a pair of vice grips and squeeze the thing because it's like a suction vacuum thing.
Hmm.
I had to take vice grips and go like that and hold it open or hold it shut to put the 4-wheel drive in.
Yeah. So with the seat the way it is, if I was going to buy that truck and make it something I want, I would definitely do the V8 swap. I'd probably
Bucket
put
seats.
and bucket seats in the interior. I'd find something like maybe a 70s era center console to put in between the bucket seats. Might have to cut it to get it to fit right, but put that in between the buckets. I might get red bucket seats and then get red carpet.
Ooh.
And then red headliner, because you could still have the black dash and all the other black stuff with it. And then do like a red accent stripe on just a pinstripe on the outside of it. But then I'd lower it. I wouldn't bag it because it doesn't make any sense, but I would definitely lower it, get rid of the bumpers, and then either get clean, tighter fiberglass bumper for the front, or get a front bumper with an integrated air dam to the front of it. And then the rear, I'd get rid of the rear bumper entirely, so it's smooth and rolls under, and then maybe create a cleanup panel for the bottom. And I would probably do twin side exhausts that dump out just forward of the rear wheels.
Wow, look at you.
I know how to design a slammer.
And after spending 20,000 on that, it's worth 10.
It's worth 10. But if that's something that you want, if it's something that you wanted to do or something you always wanted, and most of that work, 90% of that stuff you can do yourself. And if you don't want to do it yourself, you can find a good shop that would do it for you. You don't have to have power seats, so you don't need to get hung up on all that. But you can get really nice bucket seats, aftermarket bucket seats without any power. Beautiful leather or leatherette, red leatherette.
Red leather, yellow leather.
Yeah. And the mounting holes, they give you a kit to figure out where to mount them. You can bracket it down. It's not hard to do at all.
Well, I think the carpet itself, you and I should do.
Yeah, we could certainly do it. The headliner is a bit of a problem, though.
Don't look up. Here's what Ray says. Bad news. Been notified by Mannheim with a formal notice I cannot mention in any capacity Mannheim on Radical Ray TikToks.
Oh.
It's a shame because dealers post all the time for Mannheim across the country. They don't like my content. I may have to tone it down. Please post my last video. It's not bad in my opinion. All right, let me find it for you, Ray. Because Ray does this piece of shit videos.
Yes.
And yeah, there are some guys that, the thing with social media is if you say positive things, companies don't care.
Yeah.
But as soon as you start going negative, even if it's not about them, if it's about their product, I mean,
ice comes and gets you.
Yeah. And there's also times where there are dealers that will go to the auction and they'll be, wearing the glass with the camera in it, and they're getting the auction, and people don't give permission for that.
Yeah.
Dealers that are there don't want their faces seen. The auctioneer doesn't, didn't give permission. The auction doesn't want non-dealers to have access to the auction.
Yeah.
Ray, send me a link to your most recent one. Text it to me and I'll put it up real quick. Or did you already send it to me? You might have already sent it to me. No, he didn't. Yeah, send me your most recent one, Ray, and I'll play it and we'll decide. We'll discuss.
We'll decide. It doesn't surprise me because some of that piece of shit expletives on certain cars, I could imagine that would upset them. But it's his channel. So question is, now they can say we no longer want you here, and then you're banned from the store.
Well, if you get banned, then that's a whole other video.
Yeah.
Ray to send it to me. Hold on a second.
His content is too negative, I think, is what they're suggesting that it somehow hurts their business. I'm curious if they sent him a cease and desist letter.
This one's only 26 seconds. Or, I mean, excuse me, 12 seconds.
Okay.
Expert insights on Hyundai and Kia.
This is not going to be good.
No.
Okay, does it sound good to you? This sound? Yeah. Sound like shit?
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
All right. Now you're showing an employee, or not necessarily an employee, because that's a third party. You're showing the guy. Maybe that guy complained
That's true.
from that security company, Ceratus or whatever the company's called, that does the security. They're checking in the cars in the off hours. And maybe that's why. And you didn't mention Mannheim that I saw. Maybe in the comments you did, or maybe it was obvious it was Mannheim.
I think the bottom line is that if they sent him a cease and desist letter, then they're gonna claim, and they can legally claim that, you know, images and likenesses and things like that were used without permission, which is a reasonable claim. Statements that were unsubstantiated were taken out of context. The list goes on and on. So I think you probably, if you're going to do anything, just change how you put the stuff out there, and instead just evaluate the car based on what you know to be factual. State the miles, state the...
Well, that car was a piece of shit. You could hear it. It was knocking like a vacuum cleaner salesman in the 70s. I mean, it was...
The term piece of shit is not a factual statement, because it would have to literally be a piece of some animal's shit.
Or human.
So, humans are animals. So...
All right, fair enough.
So when you say it's a piece of shit, that's considered an opinion. So opinions can be substantiated, and he says that he prefaced the video by saying it was Kia and Hyundai expert opinion. So is that the guy standing there? So
I would think Ray's an expert at this point,
but Ray didn't offer his opinion. The other guy did.
That's true.
So it could be seen as somebody making fun of this poor security guy. All he does is bring the cars in and make sure everything's okay. Could be seen as making fun of that guy, which, you know.
All right. Fair enough. We need a better term instead of piece of shit. This is a 1 out of 10, in my opinion.
This is a 0 out of 10.
Yeah.
0. Don't pay any money for it.
I did sell an Acura one time that knocked like that, but it looked amazing. And a dealer bought it online as it was running through the lane. They couldn't hear it.
Yeah.
Ray remembers that one, I'm sure. That was in my back in my old days in my car flipping world.
Yeah. Well, should we do fuel prices?
We could.
We could do gas is out of control.
Well, it's going to go up again in Washington because of a new tax we're being added onto.
Yeah. And now gas is almost the same price. The regular prices, if you're shopping for a good buy, is almost as much as the low prices you get in California now.
Yeah. I mean, this past week alone, wasn't it $3.13 nationally a week ago?
Yeah.
It's $3.21.9 nationally.
Wow. That's a big jump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheapest. You know the cheapest.
Oklahoma, Tennessee, Mississippi. No,
Mississippi.
That's it.
Mississippi's at $272.9.
Wow.
For regular. Mid-grade, Mississippi's at $317.
Wow.
Remember it was always 10 cents more?
Yes.
Like I always wondered that. It was always 10 cents more for mid-grade, another 10 cents for pre. And I'm like, no matter how much gas was, it was always that 10 cents. Now it's not anymore.
79, 89, 99. And for the longest time, they wouldn't go over 99 because all the pumps only had 2 digits to sell gas.
And they put the 9 at the end. It's 99.9 cents because that was all marketing ploy.
Yeah.
to make it look a little bit cheaper. It's a tenth of a cent under what it actually is. So when you see, the prices,
The cheapest
premium Oklahoma is the cheapest premium at $3.53, and the cheapest diesel is still in Texas, but it's $3.21.
diesel. I saw diesel out here for $5.09 at the local station for diesel.
That's insane. Diesel's a byproduct.
It's
Oh, okay. Ray wants to clarify. He got a warning from the GM. If he posts again, he'll get a formal cease and desist, and we'll probably boited. What is boited?
probably boited.
Banned?
Booted.
Booted.
I guess. That's
Hoisted.
I get that when I'm texting real quickly, the chunky finger.
Chunky finger. You can't say fat finger. Is that going to offend somebody?
I don't use fat anymore. I say chunky, husky.
Ray feels the master getting robbed by his Radical Ray videos. They're thought provoking and quite educational. Piece of shit.
They are entertaining. I'll say that.
I do know the GM at Mannheim, Ray. I know Eddie pretty well. I don't know him. I mean, I was just on a call with him last week, actually, but I met him many years ago when he was head of commercial services before he was the GM, before he was the AGM, then the GM at Mannheim. The guy that we hired to be the general manager of Paymax Car Buyers was working there, and I called him for a reference.
I will say this. I think one of the hardest jobs in the world to do is to be a general manager for a vehicle auction house. Stuff moves so quickly in and out of there. You can't really form an educated opinion on anything. You got to be quick. You got to be on it. You got to do math calculations in your head. You got to manage a wide range of people, screamers from yellers to, it's
right. And you've got dealers that are cheating the auction when they sell the car. You've got dealers that are trying to cheat the auction when they buy the car.
Yeah.
You've got pissed off sellers, pissed off buyers.
Yeah.
You got people that, don't get their titles in time.
Yeah. People leave that job and go to a low stress job to work as air traffic controllers. That's how difficult that job is.
Yes. Ray just said, tell Eddie we're great friends and leave Radical Ray alone. Tell him Ray's a retired nurse and slightly unstable. All that's true.
Ray is a retired nurse.
Yeah, Ray was a nurse.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Ray Pepper.
That's why he's got such a gentle demeanor about him.
He's just a laid back guy.
He really is.
He was in real estate. When I first met him, Ray, correct me if I'm wrong, I met you at the CarMax auction because he was wearing a Kramer sweatshirt, and Josh and I had just started watching every episode of Seinfeld back to back. And so we bonded over that. Then it turned out we both been bar mitzvahed. We both coach basketball. We're both in the car business. But I think he had just got into the car business right around then, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
He was doing real estate. I don't know if you weren't flipping houses, but you were doing you were helping buyers and sellers with lower commissions or something. Ray will correct me if I'm wrong.
He should wear doctor gear and have people come in to buy the car, and he'll do a free health checkup and sell you a car.
There you go.
Dr. Ray is in the house.
Yeah, Ray, update me if I'm wrong on any of that. But somehow the show's almost over.
Oh wow.
We haven't done an old school in a while. Do you want to pull one out of your ass, or I mean,
sure. We can do an old school. I got to
always have one ready to go.
Yeah, just off the top of my head.
Here we go. We're gonna hit old school.
Audio Jungle.
One of the greatest American car companies to ever exist was the Packard Corporation. Packard started building cars in 1899. Now think about that. That's literally at the dawn of automobile manufacturing. And European manufacturers were building cars as well, but Packard established their brand very early on, surviving 2 world wars through the teens, the 20s, the Great Depression, and into the post-World War II era with cars that would last through the 50s until their eventual demise, where they were absorbed by Studebaker in the late 50s. So the car we're going to look at today is the Packard Studebaker combination. The Packard Hawk.
I had this all fired up.
Ah, totally different car.
I thought you were going to go with the Packard you have listed on Bring a Trailer.
We could certainly do this car, but
Well,
this
let's do
is,
the Packard Studebaker. Let's do that one.
the Packard Hawk. The Packard Hawk was a really clever car designed to make product differentiation between the existing Studebaker, but not spend a lot of money to make a completely new car because the Packard name was dying out. So the Packard Hawk was based on the Hawk. You could get it with the supercharged engine. It had a big hood scoop and it had a wide grille in the front that people referred to as a catfish. And you could see that combination, but beautiful tail fins out the back. This model is in 58, which I believe was the last year for the Packard. And these are considered stylish, very, very unusual, rare cars. And if you get one with the supercharger, it's a pretty peppy little unit. They came with automatic and stick shift. Today, if you were going to go find one, you certainly wouldn't want to spend the money to restore it because these would be very expensive to restore. But a nice one in this condition, something like this, might set you back $35,000, $40,000. And these days, when the price of a brand new car is close to $50,000, here you get a ton of quality, ton of class, unique look, and a fairly safe, easy to drive car without a lot of complications, completely electronics free, no driving nannies. It's you and the steering wheel, the brake pedal, and the gas pedal. Very basic, simple car. If you need to change the brakes, most of the equipment is available through any of the used parts places that you would get. And look at the style, look at the quality, look at the trim and details. I mean, this is just over the top American 50s prosperity, even though it meant the demise of a great brand, Packard.
There you go.
Yeah.
And now going to the one that you currently have on Bring a Trailer.
Yeah, now this goes all the way back to 1928. This is an all original car, original paint, original interior, original drivetrain. It's never been repainted. And you can still see this wonderful crackling patina. Fantastic car. This is a car that the owner, who's had for 24 years, he purchased it and has since put 17,000 miles on the car. He's driven it everywhere, all over various, hill climbs up to Mount Rainier, down into the valleys, taking it down to California. This is a fantastic opportunity for somebody who wants the last remaining drivable original Packard Roadster of this kind.
This is the last one.
The last one. Most of these cars end up fully restored. This is the last one, other than cars like this that might be in a junkyard that don't run. But this car, you can just literally hop in, turn the key, start it, and off you go.
I can't imagine a junkyard would still have any of these just because they'd be crushed. They would have been crushed at some point to make more
Most
room.
of them would certainly be, but a lot of these cars got bought by collectors and they just put them in their backyard or put them in their barn or something like that. And they think, well, I'll eventually get to this. And they never do.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, that's a Packard for you. These were absolute premium cars. This car is enormous, by the way. The wheelbase is 143 inches.
Wow.
That's the wheelbase. Now, do you know the wheelbase on your current BMW?
I don't.
It might be 100.
I know that's the difference between wheels.
Yes, it might be 110, 115. Let's call it 120. Add another 2 feet, and you're at the back wheelbase. But look at the patina. That's the original colors. You can even see the light green, bright pinstripe. That was hand applied. Just fantastic detail. Spotlight, everything works too. The lights work. It all. Now there are no backup lights. There are no turn indicators because it's all before all that stuff. But beautiful wood. See the little cubby on the side. You open that and you slide your golf club in, and your golf bag will fit inside that little golf cubby. It's got a rumble seat in the back, a mother-in-law seat. Just a fantastic example of Americana right there.
Wow. And it's right here in our neck of the woods.
It sure is. It's in Kingston. Fabulous car.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and this is the kind of car that the collectors now are looking at what they call preservation cars, and this is a car that is part of that preservation idiom. It's never been restored, and what you do is you just preserve it. Now you can see the owner, because he was driving it, he covered the seat with black vinyl so that, you know, you're driving in the rain. You don't want the original material to get compromised because it was a fabric type material. What I
that
would
Napa brand down there, I don't think that's original.
no, I would probably get the get material, old material, if I can find the original cloth type material, and redo the front seat, in cloth, or redo the front seat in leather. But I would try and get an aged leather for it. That's an inline straight 8. That's 385 cubic inch straight 8 engine.
Wow.
Yeah.
Detroit, Michigan.
Yep.
Well, it's got the delivered date.
Yeah.
5/19/28.
28, almost 100 years ago. That's incredible, isn't it?
That is just unreal.
Yeah. Extra wheels, extra parts, all sorts of little features, spare gas tank. You see those twin headlights on a bar? Those twin headlights on a bar, you can mount them on the front of the car, and when you turn the wheel, the lights rotate to steer into the corner.
Oh, nice.
Very clever mechanism.
My car has that.
Yeah.
Slightly. But
And the thing you'll notice on these cars, there's the original license plate that was on the car after the war. Now, this car was purchased new and then used by the original owner, and then it was stored during the Great Depression and through the Second World War, because the owner didn't want it to get compromised for the steel.
yeah.
It was stored away, and then after the war, a private collector bought it, brought it to California, and then from there it ended up in Washington, and then the Washington owner sold it to the current owner, also in Washington.
And here it is in Pebble Beach. Are you in any of these pictures?
I am not in any of these photos.
It's always funny when you get a picture from Pebble Beach and it's like, oh wait, there's Raffi.
Yeah. This was
there
in
it is on the lawn.
There are the judges judging it. In the preservation class, you can only bring cars that have never been restored. And here, look, this car is this Hurricane Ridge, and it's driving all over the place. 17,000 miles.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why has this never been to our car shows?
It's a good question. But
it's in Kingston. You should tell him to bring it down.
Yeah.
I won't be there this Tuesday or this coming Tuesday.
He's aging out. He no longer has the stamina to.
Can you go pick it up and bring it?
I could.
Bring it.
I think it's going to be sold by next.
Oh,
week.
that's it'll be sold by then. That's duh.
Yeah.
I'm not
306 pictures.
Yeah.
To 11,500.
Yep.
Somebody mentioned photo 301. The Concord judge in that photo is Leslie Kono, Antiques Roadshow.
Yeah.
With an expression on his face, he is in the groove.
There you go.
Wow. Is this? What do you think this is worth? What should it go for? You don't have to tell me the reserve, obviously, but what do you think it should go for?
It's a good question. The challenge with a car like this is that many of the people who really want this car are no longer acquiring cars.
Yeah.
So we're kind of in that transition where there's a band before a new generation discovers them. I suspect that because of that, this really ought to be $100,000 car.
Yeah.
In every respect. But I think because the market is not as competitive as it used to be, I think it may be in the 75 to 85K range.
All right. A couple final comments before we get out of here. Dan says, is the center cap at the bottom of the radiator for a backup hand crank option?
That is entirely likely. Usually they have that cap at the bottom, and you remove that cap and you can install a crank handle and turn the engine over. It's a big engine though. That's an 8-cylinder, inline 8-cylinder. Most likely what that handle would do is it'd be hard to compression start with a hand crank. You'd probably just use that to loosen it and get it to kick a little bit.
Ray or Adam says they don't make them like they used to.
Yeah.
And Ray says, I want to remind everyone in this beautiful PNW morning, come to Affordable Used Cars in Bremerton. I'm not there, so no coffee for you. But mention me, and it's possible they'll hand you a coupon for something.
A coupon for something.
And then Adam says I should go to the Seinfeld restaurant while I'm in Tacoma. I forgot about that. There's a Seinfeld-themed restaurant here.
Really?
I might go there.
Yeah.
I'll get the soup. It's not a meal.
That's or the big salad. I'll bet they have that. The big
soup.
salad.
Or have a big salad. They probably have different types of no soup for you.
Yeah. They got the corned
yeah.
beef. Is it lean?
All right. That's the show for this week. Next week, I will be in an undisclosed location if you're available to do the show next week.
Yeah, I should be.
We'll be remote again. I will be in an undisclosed location, doing a little traveling next week.
All right.
If you're in the LA area on Tuesday night, again at the Culver City Theater, 9:30 p.m. screening of It's a Lot, the sitcom, with this guy over here playing Tony, and this guy over here playing Dan, and Rick Springfield playing Max, and Dean Edwards playing Lenny from Lenny's Super Mega Autoplex.
There you go.
And yeah, I will say it's cool opening for Pauly Shore this week in Tacoma because that audience, they know who Rick Springfield is.
Ah.
Because a lot of times you get audiences, they're like, who?
Yeah.
Because if you're under 30 and you say Jesse's Girl, they go, oh, okay, then they know. But I was saying, if you think of the MTV, I've now worked with two people that are very instrumental in MTV. Because Pauly Shore, of course, I think became famous because of MTV and his antics on MTV. And the number one song in the country on August 1st, 1981, when MTV launched, was Jesse's Girl. It's the first. It wasn't the first song they played.
What was the first song they played?
Video Killed the Radio Star.
By?
The Buggles, the Wuggles, the Snuggles.
The Buggles.
The Buggles. All right. And what's the first video that's considered the first music video?
The first music video?
First song that's considered the first music video.
Is it the one by Van Halen?
No. Mike Nesmith, Elephant Parts.
Oh, that's way long ago.
Yeah, way before MTV.
Now, Mike Nesmith
he made the first
guy.
idea of a music video. Now, the Beatles had music videos, obviously, and the Monkees did, but that was part of their show and part of their movies. But that's considered for some reason. We can talk about music on some other show. All right. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
I got to hit the button.